In this video, I'm going to talk about importing modules. So this is just really a continuation from where I left off, which was 9 months ago. And 9 months ago, I created these two videos. One was Python package, creating a package, which was putting it into an organized file and directory structure, and then also unit tests. And the purpose of the unit tests were to kind of organize the way I do videos. So it will enable me to create run things in a more modular kind of way, a more sort of progressive, gradual way, so that way you can see how we build up to some output, and it's just a good way to work anyway by using tests. So where I'm going to start is where I left off from, and I'm going to be in this folder. So let's just do a ls all, and you can see we've got my custom structure, which is classes. I put my classes in there, my class objects. I put functions into a file where I put it into jobs, and I've got more sort of specific stuff. Classes are stuff that I want to share, just write it once, use it as an object throughout my application, and then jobs are more kind of specific. And then I've got JSON. I do a lot of JSON stuff, so I just throw it into that folder. And then resources, I really kind of use that. And then tests, this is where we're going to reside quite a bit. So let me do a tree, and you can see that we've got this particular folder structure. So the file which we left off from last was this one, test unit test py, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy that file, and that will give us a starting point. So just do a cp tests and just copy this file, so I get all of the content which I put in that file. And I'll call this modules, because we will be importing modules. Alright, I can just do another tree, and here you can see the file. And I'm going to create another file as well, because the whole point about modules is that you create a file, put it somewhere, and you want to import it in as a module. So the other one which I'm going to create is going to be one which we'll call jobs. So it's going to be in the directory jobs. So jobs function test, and the first thing we're going to do is import a function into our application, or wherever we may want to import it into. Oops, sorry. Well, I don't need to copy anything. I can just create the file. Alright, so just do another tree, and we've got this particular file here called function test. So we're going to write some code in here, and then we're going to import it in there as a module. And by importing it as a module, you can have loads of different functions inside of this file, and using dot notation you can get to the particular function that you want to import as a module. So let's I'm just going to cd. So the first thing I'm going to do in my bash rc, I'm just going to update it, and I'll just copy this. And at the bottom of the file, I'm just going to do an export py tests equals tests. Okay, so instead of me having to type out this folder, sorry, this path, I can just use a variable to reference it, and I'll just put home at the front of it. Okay. And I'll just refresh and just check that works. Okay, there's a little mistake in there. And I think I had uncommented this. Okay. Let's try that again. Okay. And we can do a echo pi tests, and we can just go straight into that folder. Yep. So now I don't have to type that out. And if there's any other variables, you can just put it into your bash RC, and that will be available to that particular user. If you want to make something system-wide, then you put it into your profiles file. And if you haven't got a profiles file, then you just create one. All right. So now what I want to do, I want to go into this folder, and let's just do this. I want to go. Actually, I'm just going to copy that out, and I will use this variable, but for the moment, I just want to go in here at this level, and I'm going to open that up in Vim. All right. So now I can see, I'm not just in the test folder, I can see all of my other directories in there as well. Alright, so I'm going to go into tests, and here I've got modules, and here I've got jobs, the function test file that I created, and we're going to write a function in that. So we can do that right now, and we can call that very simple function, which is going to be def my func, and we're going to input a string, and it's going to be a string, and we're going to output a string. Now, some of my other videos I did explain all of this, so this type inference, so that's not necessary in Python, but we use it a lot in other languages. And it's a really good way to understand, what sort of data type needs to be input into the function and what's going to come out of the function. It's not strict within Python, because Python is a dynamic language, but it's really helpful when you can define functions in that way. So what we're going to do, we're going to input that, and we're going to return it a string, and that will be an f string, so I can include some variables, and I'll just say my function returns my string, the variable that we've input. So I'll just save that, and I'm going to go over here to modules, and this particular file, if you want to know more about it, just go to this video, this one, Python unit test. Go to that one, and that explains, this class structure for running unit tests. And I'm just going to edit this because I don't want all of that, and I don't want this over here. And this, I'm just going to say test function. All right. So let's just get rid of this, and it's not going to do anything for the moment. What I'm really concerned about is just up here, and I'm going to import some necessary libraries. One is going to be OS and the other one is going to be sys. And what I'm going to do, I'll just do a quick print so we know what's going on, because I'm going to be absolutely literal in everything that I do. So let's print that, and we're going to run that test. So we're going to run this, and I'll say Python 3 PyTests, and we're not going to run, if I were to run this, then there's only one test in it, so we'll just run this one test. But I like to be quite specific, and I'm just going to say give me verbose output, and the class which I'm going to run is this one, and the method or the test inside of this class is going to be this one, test function. So that's what I'm going to run. So let's run that, and it says it can't open a file because there's no such file or directory. So let's check that, and I need to include this at the front, and then we can see it. So this particular, anytime you run directory, you can find out what's inside of an object. And in this particular list, which is it's just giving me what's available to me, and everything that's available to me, you can see that. And where I included the import of OS and sys, you can see that in there as well. I already had time and unit test modules in there too. And this is the one which I'm going to be interested in because I want to get the path where I currently am. So let's just get rid of that, and let's do a print file. And what I normally do, I always kind of make things a little bit more legible in the terminal by just putting some sort of indicator of what we're looking at. So let's just run that again, and you can see, that particular file gives us, it's the current file which you are running. So this file, and it gives us the absolute path for that. So that's quite useful. Now what I want to do, I want to create a variable which reference the absolute path up to this bit, because I don't like to put full paths in my application. I want to be able to run my application anywhere. If I move it into a different folder, I'm just going to use relative paths. And to understand exactly where we are, we use this as a locator, and then we can cut back on the absolute path to a starting point, and my starting point is going to be here at my tests. All right, so let's just go in there, and I'm just going to get rid of this, and I'm going to say project directory equals, and here we're going to use os.path dot what is it again, directory name, and let's just run that. Oh sorry, let's just print that out. So print project directory, and again if I just put an indicator in there, and we can see where we are in the output. Alright, so what this does, this goes back one on our path. So we just want to get the directory in which this file is located, and then that way you can see the original output gave us the full path, but now we've cut that back, we've gone back one, and we have the path to test. But I want to be here, over there. So what I want to do, I want to go back another 2 times. So let's just wrap that in another 2. And we put another 2 closing brackets on the end and run that again, and you can see we're now here. So now I have the absolute path to here. So let's just get rid of that. Now what I want to do, I want to put that path inside of my system path. Now if I just do a print sys path, let's just take a look at that. So here we've got tests, but I want to include this one, this particular path. Now the reason why we've got tests is because you know, we know where we are. It automatically puts this directory where the current file resides, where we're working from, inside of our system path. But I also want to include this one. So what I'm going to do is say sys.path.insert at index 0. Sorry, just a little correction there. Project. I've got the mic right in front of me, so I can't really see the keyboard, so I'll make a few mistakes. Alright, project directory, and then just rerun that. And here you can see index 0. It's just shoved everything along by inserting this at the very beginning at index 0, and now I've got that directory in my system path. Now what that enables me to do is just get rid of that, do an import. So if I go back to this again and just open up another one here, so I'm going to say cd test tests. Let's just go back one and do treat again. So the root of my directory, the root of where I am, is where I currently am is here, my Python. But what I did, I cut it all the way back to here, and I want to treat my Python as a module. And so within my Python, let's have a quick look here. So so within my Python, I've got this file called the init file, and that's just a blank file. And so by putting that into this directory, my Python is now a module. If I didn't have that in there, then nothing in here will be recognized as a module. I wouldn't be able to import it. So by putting that in there, I can import it. And as you can see in my other directories, I've also got one. So anything I put into classes, I want to be able to import that as an object. And then, you know, in jobs, where I created this function, this file with a function inside of it, I also want to treat that as a module. And then also within tests, I can also create that, treat that as a module as well if I needed to. All right, so let's just go back, and we're going to do an import. So we're going to say from my Python, which is a module, we're going to import .jobs, so we can use the dot notation jobs, and we're going to import this file as a module. Now we don't need to include the extension, we can just say function test, save that, and I'm just going to run that, and as long as I don't get any errors then we're good. It's imported. Okay, and as you can see, well no, okay, that's, I was going to say as you can see, that's not as you can see. Alright, as you can see, we haven't got any errors, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to import this function. Now the function is called myfunc, so let's import that, and it takes an argument which is my string, so we'll insert an argument into that. Alright, so let's go back, and within my test function I'm going to import, sorry, I'm going to get the module function test, and let's just print that out for a quick sec. And as you can see, it's a module, so function test. So let's start working with it. Alright, so it takes an argument, and that argument is a string, and what shall I say? I will say howdy partner, and we'll run that. And it ran okay, but what I didn't do, I didn't print out the output. So let's say result equals print result, and we can run that again. And as you can say, as you can see, my function returns howdy partner. Alright, so I'm going to leave it here for now because I don't want to make videos that are like way too long, and there's still some more stuff that I want to show you with importing modules, you know, a few more advanced things, so I'm going to create a new video for that. Nice one, folks.